Hello once again and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host Prince Magnum. Welcome to Off the Chain and kind of a special two-part video collection, I guess you could say, for the Prince Magnum channel. Basically the final fight for Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild as I played it, okay? Now, I'm going to openly admit there are people out there that can do 100 times better than me, thousands of times better than me at this game. It's been out for a little while, so I know there's better gameplay than what I've got to offer. But let me challenge you with this thought. Most of you out there, if you're watching this particular gameplay, you're picking this game up probably for the first time, and you may be going up and fighting Ganon, Calamity Ganon, for the very first time in this game. So your gameplay isn't going to be picture perfect. You need to, I'm not going to offer you that picture perfect gameplay. I'm going to offer you how it really is, okay? I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to BS you. I'm going to play it as all of you would, okay? So this is my second time going to the Sanctum and beating Calamity Ganon. I did it for the first time to kind of get an idea what I was going to be doing. Second time, I knew I was going to be filming for all of you. Now, the first thing that I'm going to tell you is that most of what we're going to encounter on the way to the Sanctum is just going to be respawn guardians and the occasional Yiga clan member that just hasn't let it go because I beat Master Koga. Okay, so that's where we stand on this. That's kind of what we're dealing with. All right, now I have gotten all 4 guardians, so onward and upward. Now, while we're going up here in this first part, I want to tell you all this is kind of, I guess you could say, this is kind of every 80s boys fantasy to be able to, back in the 1980s, Legend of Zelda was one of the most epic games that you could play on the NES, the original. And I enjoyed the game. It was a lot of fun back then, and it's still fun to play today. Well, here we are. We're playing the last installment as the making of this video for the Legend of Zelda series. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And here I am videoing this for all of you. So I guess you could say, back then, it was, oh, my gameplay was just awesome. It was, as we might have said in the 80s, it was rad. We really, we did this, we did that, and it was really awesome, and we could try to describe it to all our buddies, on the school playground, but, this is an opportunity to, I guess you could say, every 80s child's fantasy. Now you all get to see, what actually happened, in this fight. So I guess you could say I'm kind of living out my 80s boyhood fantasy here, okay? So, hey, don't take it away from me. Don't take it away from me. This is important, okay? All right, now one of the things that I'm in this kind of, talk about the gameplay and everything, one of the things I really do love about Breath of the Wild is the fact that it has so many things that happens in game. For example, you'll notice that it's raining. Well, the weather changes in game. As a matter of fact, you'll be going along, it'll be raining, and all of a sudden you'll get thunder and lightning, and it's frightening and scary. And you actually have to take off your metal weapons or you'll get struck by lightning. And it could kill you if you continue to keep trying to go around like this. I thought that was really interesting that they added that into the gameplay. Along with that, temperature is a factor. There's actually a temperature gauge in this game. There's actually a thermometer where you actually have to, watch for the weather, as far as the temperature goes. I thought that was really interesting. Another little something that they put in here that I thought was interesting was all the different armor sets. And, there was just so many things about this game that I really enjoyed. And, of course, we're going to do more gameplay with it. We're going to make a lot more videos about this game because remember, I have played the original too, and I will say that in the original Legend of Zelda, the original one for the NES, the top-down one that I'm talking about, most people don't even know there's two quests. I have beat the first one, and eventually I hope to stream beating the second one for y'all. But that's down the road. Let's focus on this game at the moment. Talking about that, we're going to talk a little bit, about that a little bit later in this video, but let's focus on the task at hand. Now, one of the other things that I want to talk about is, as you're progressing through the game, if you're going to stream this game, which I know some people have been, if you're going to be taking on Ganon, one of the things that I will tell you, the smartest thing that you can do as you get closer, if you're going to do this, before you actually stream, go through and take out as much as you possibly can, so the only thing you have to worry about is respawns, which is exactly what I did. In this video, I had already taken out everything, so the only thing I have to worry about is respawn stuff at this point. And of course, the reason why I was doing that is because I was getting all sorts of goofy footage for gameplay later, for video footage later. And I knew I was going to be doing this video. So take out as much as you can along the way. Now, another little something that I will mention is these little barriers like this. Anything pink, black, and red like this that you see, like I'm trying to figure out a way to get around, kind of a heads up on that. If you stand in it, it's going to take away your life. Now, thankfully, my lifeline's pretty long. So, I mean, I can kind of get away with taking a little bit of damage, but we don't want to do that a whole lot. Again, I will also say that the Guardians in this game are ridiculous, if I've not mentioned that. They're ridiculous. The best thing you can do is aim for the eye. Except for the flying ones. Don't bother with that. They move around a little too much. Just break out your Guardian arrows if you've got them. If you don't have those, go directly to your bomb arrows. Don't waste your time trying to hit them in the eye. Just go ham with the Guardian arrows or the bomb arrows, whichever you've got. If you don't have those, go to your fire. If you don't have those, go to your electric. If you don't have those, go to your ice arrows. If you don't have those, don't even bother trying to fight them. Get out of there, avoid them, because your regular arrows are a complete waste of time. But all the other Guardians, hitting them in the eye, perfectly okay. Now, one of the other little features that I love about this game is this slow fall shot that you could do from the paraglider. It's really neat to be able to kind of do that slow fall. Now, once you get the Rivali scale, you could do that a little bit more often. But, if you get flames and then you see the air coming off the flames, like you just seen me doing, yeah, you definitely want to use that to your advantage if you can. Get airborne and start firing arrows like crazy. Now, another little secret, if you've got the Joy-Cons, there's a little tilt feature that allows you to kind of help you aim your shots. I'm not using the Joy-Cons. I'm actually using an actual analog, controller that's plugged in because we're using the Switch as an actual console right now, not a handheld. So that being said, you're actually seeing me use actual analog, just like in the old days. And targeting even with that slow fall. So if you find that interesting. Quick tip about these Guardians that got the legs. Chop off the legs, it stuns them. You can pick up more loot that way. Okay? Just kind of a neat little something. Anything else, don't bother. Just shoot them and get it over with. Take those Guardians down. Don't waste your time, because them things hit hard. They hit really hard, actually. It's ridiculous how hard those dang Guardians can hit. Again, for those that don't know what I'm actually doing, I don't have to worry about the these little kind of evil barriers. I'm just, I don't have to, but in case I decide I want to come back through, maybe something happens in gameplay and I got to travel back, I'm taking the time anyways, okay? And I was pretty sure I was going to go ahead and go all the way up to the Sanctum. Part of me was sitting there going, what if it goes bad, blah, 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 so I was kind of sitting there thinking if it goes bad, maybe I need to travel out or get something or whatever, I was pretty sure I knew what I was going to be doing in this video, but in case I changed my mind, I wanted an easier time going back up to the Sanctum. Okay, for those that don't know, the Sanctum is kind of like this really, really high courtroom that's inside Hyrule Castle. So that's where Ganon's gonna be. And again, this is a two-parter. Did I beat Ganon? I don't know. I'm not telling you. Mainly, this is just kind of to see the fight. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you anymore, but I think y'all pretty well know what to expect from here. Now, one of the other features that I love about Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is the fact that there is no set strategy, and even going into Hyrule Castle, in a lot of your past Legend of Zelda games, there was only one way to do it, pretty much, and maybe you might figure out little strategies in that one way, but there's several ways in this game to get inside Hyrule Castle, which I took advantage of. Again, if you remember some of the previous videos that I've done on this game, this is about the time you would see a flying guardian, but we already got him. So onward and upward, right? Right? Well, that's the hope. At this point, I'm using Rivali's Gale. The weather, if you know anything about the weather, if it's raining, Link has a difficult time climbing. Actually, it's almost impossible. So I could put on my climbing gear, but that's still not 100% guarantee. He still slides around a little bit. It's not as much, but in case I do encounter a respawn, I want my Guardian armor on, so I'm going to just have to, tough it out and struggle my way in. Thankfully, again, I took the time to take out as much as I could getting up to this point, so again, all I got to do is worry about respawns. Ooh, chest. You'll find in these little towers, there's always nifty little stuff to pick up along the way. And I have no problem taking my time and picking up extra loot. Again, when you're talking this fight, it's brutal, folks. This fight is brutal. It's one of the toughest boss fights I've had in my time playing video games. It's one of the toughest ones. Minus playing World of Warcraft. That game can get ridiculous. But as far as like console boss fights, this is one of the toughest ones. And again, this one, what made this game so much fun is just how much actually happens within the game. And you wouldn't think so much happened with such a small little cartridge that fits inside the Switch, but a lot does happen. Okay, now, the most direct route that I found is trying to use your Rivali's Gale and using the waterfalls. If you've not done so, you better make sure that you've got the Zora armor if you're going to be using the waterfalls. Which brings to mind, while we're on the subject of the Zora armor, the Zora chest piece, if you know anything about the backstory in this game, there's 4 champions that are supposed to be piloting the Guardian Beast in this game, and one of them, the Guardian Beast looks like an elephant, and it's out of the Zora domain. The champion is the princess of the king of the Zora domain. Her name is Mipha. Now, Mipha actually makes Link's Zora armor chest piece, which I have just put on in this video. That particular chest piece, what's interesting about it is it fits Link perfectly, and this is actually used as part of the game content in this game. Okay, it's so amazing. I have to include this, and I've used the bit where Link and Mipha are sitting on top of that great big giant Guardian Beast that will later come in play in this fight, in the fight with Ganon. She's healing his arm, and they're kind of talking about after the fight's over that they were going to spend some time together. Well, that particular piece, again, that chess piece, Mipha actually made. Now, what's special about it is a woman will make her husband's chest piece. And they include that little bit into the game, and it fits Link perfectly. So that means that Mipha had full intentions after the whole thing with Ganon was over, that she had set her eyes on Link as her future husband. Now, Princess Faye actually has a horrible joke about, I won't repeat that unless by the next video you all want to hear that, but she actually has a horrible joke about Link and Mipha, but for right now I won't repeat it. But that chess piece is for, it was actually, she made that for Link with the intentions that Link was going to be her husband after this fight. Of course, we know that Link lost the original fight, and Mipha dies 100 years before this fight. So that means that, if you will, when I go to do the, when I go in to take on Ganon, Link is going to be wearing that particular chess piece. So if you say, oh, you could have went in with a better chess piece, I guess you could say part of me feels like this should be a part of the storyline, that he's wearing that chess piece. You took my love away, and and that sort of thing. That kind of redemption that the woman that loved him and wanted him as a husband. So it's the romantic in me. Don't take it away from me. Okay, so that's why I left it on for this. Right now, what I'm actually doing is I'm going to be filling up my lifeline, kind of making those last minute preparations, and the rest of the armor will be put on that is probably going to give me the best advantage. And of course, I'm going to eat, stuff Link like a Thanksgiving turkey. Then I'm going to top off his inventory with some cooked foods, because the fight is brutal. Like I said, I've already done this fight once before, and that sort of thing. Did I beat Ganon in this one? Well, you'll have to wait till the second part to see whether or not I did. I think you all pretty well know, but hey, whatever, right? I'm not going to tell you any more about, the next video other than it exists. So again, at this point, I'm just topping off the cooked food items list. This is a tough fight, and I know it. Okay. So I think that pretty well covers everything. I've got on the Hylian shield, the Master Sword. I've got on two really strong pieces of armor, plus the Zora Domain armor for kind of like my homage to the storyline. Say what you want about that. To me, I felt it was important, so I did it. Whatever. Okay. Don't try to take that from me. I'm still romantic deep down inside. All right, so that brings us to a spot where we're going to be kind of closing this down. Again, at this point, I'm just topping off some stuff. So before I go ahead and end, be sure to check out these following people right here. Some of them stream video games, some of them load edited content, some of them are cooks. They just do all sorts. A lot of wonderful people that do all sorts of amazing stuff. Be sure to check these wonderful folks out. Okay, you're missing out if you don't check these people out. Okay, they're big time supporters of the Prince Magnum channel, and again, the Prince Magnum channel has a little something on here for everybody. Obviously, we're even including wonderful people that add to the Prince Magnum channel's wonderful landscape. I guess you could say the wonderful landscape of the Maverick Nation. Also, be sure to check me out on Patreon at patreon.com/Prince Magnum and donate if you can. All right, and as always, for all of you out there, get out there and work on a project. I don't care what it is. Just do something with yourself. Remember, idle hands and a creative mind go together like oil and water. And as always, if you have a sweetheart, sweep them off their feet, do something special for them. And if no one's told you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you, and have a happy 24. Thank you. Ah, shit.
Man. Wow, man, freaked out.